House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, recently invested $2.2 million in Tesla, according to Business Insider. This comes after Paul's $2.9 million investment in American Express, Apple, PayPal, and Disney back in January. Forbes is calling the Tesla purchase one of Pelosi's biggest equity investments this year. Mr. Pelosi has made tens of millions of dollars from stock trades during the past few years, and his latest purchase looks just as promising. According to the Western Journal, Pelosi bought in at $500 a share last Thursday. There's some options involved there. Since then, Tesla's share price has increased to over $1,036 a share.
The purchase comes as Democrats are asking Biden to stand firm on the $555 billion dedicated to climate change in Build Back Better, which would include a $12,500 credit for consumers who purchase a new electric vehicle. A hearing about stock trading reforms is expected to happen in the coming weeks after it was postponed last Wednesday. Do you know why it was postponed? I don't know why it was. But anyway, it's...
They're saying COVID, but I don't quite know.
Somebody has COVID. Somebody always has COVID. Yes. Not an excuse anymore, people.
And the news on this, so in my radar, I talked about Manchin speaking at that CERA Week conference, and elsewhere in those remarks, which I didn't play, he said that, look, if I'm all for subsidizing electric vehicles, but I'm not for what was in the previous version, which was only subsidies for union-made electric vehicles. And so that's a big win for Tesla. It's also a win. Toyota's not union, right? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I'll Google that. So Toyota has a massive plant in West Virginia. And Manchin made a clean point, which was, you say that this is a civilization extinction level event. Like, you can't hold it up over just subsidizing union electric vehicles. It's like, all right, you know what? That's a clean hit. Fine. And so Democrats are just going to give him basically anything he wants if this package comes together, which means there would be subsidies available for any electric vehicle, whether it was made by union hands or not union hands. Now, the interesting thing about the Pelosi situation is Pelosi says, and there's every reason to believe this is true, that she herself doesn't own any stocks, doesn't trade any stocks.
Just the husband.
Her husband is a stock trader. Right. Like, that's his job. He's like an investment guy. Like that. That's why he's as rich as he is. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And so it raises an interesting question about the ban on family stock trading. Like, what if your spouse, that's their job, is to trade stocks? I suppose, I don't know if the rule would be you could still trade stocks for clients, but just not for yourself. But now your clients would get all the benefit of this. Me, I'd find, okay, cool. No spouses of traders can serve in Congress. I'm fine with that. And I think that would poll at probably 85%. I'm sure there's some people who be like, that's not fair, but hey, there's a lot of other jobs. Life's unfair.
There are a lot
of other jobs.
More unfair things than that.
Yes, yes, there are.
Doesn't quite crack my top unfair. Oh no.
Maybe top 5,000.
Nancy Pelosi has to retire sometime before she turns 95.
Yeah. Or her husband. You still have to be doing this. Why don't people? Why don't people? I guess in these jobs where it's not just money, but it's power.
I guess, yeah. Because if you have hundreds of millions.
You can't
have to
spend
keep
that in your
going.
life.
Yeah, you can't. You have everything you could want or need. Yeah. But why? So why do they need to?
And it's just gonna ruin your grandchildren's lives anyway. Like, if you look at the outcomes.
Oh, I know.
Of the third and fourth generation from
Children
billionaires,
of vast wealth.
They're all in rehab and miserable and they're just unhappy, and so they're fueling inequality. They're fueling all the climate collapse. And they're not even happy doing it. Yeah. It'd be one thing if it was bringing joy to them, but it's not even doing that. So yeah, ban it for their own good.
For their own good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. But there's no reason that they need to have control in our government as well. This easy, clearly permeable line. There's no way they're not talking to each other about it. It's unavoidable. Right. It's just unavoidable. That there wouldn't be influence.
And they go to events together too. And so he's even if she doesn't tell him, you know what, that union provision is probably not going to make it. Even if she doesn't tell him that, he goes occasionally to events, not a ton, but I've seen him around the Capitol once or twice, and he might go to other fundraisers or whatever where he's meeting people, and who might say, yeah, this union-made EV thing isn't going to last. It's like, oh, great.
How interesting.
Good to know.
I'll pass that on to my
Yes.
clients. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
But it shows why someone in Pelosi's position has opposed the greater restrictions of stock trading.
I can't imagine what that conversation's like.
Yeah.
Like, because if the bill were written right.
Honey, you're going to force me to early retirement here?
If the bill were.
I mean, early retirement, I don't know how old they are. It's not early retirement.
Right.
Just
early for them. Early for that class.
Yes.
Right. But yeah, so she would have to sign off on, and that's why I think they can say that COVID was why they didn't hold the hearing, but it does feel like they want to slow walk this until they move on, which would just insane to allow Republicans to run on this.
But that has not been a deterrent in other things.
Right. No, it has not. And then watch, when Republicans take control, they'll do some fake. They won't even ban it either. This is a major bipartisan problem.
So we're hearing the Committee on House Administration postponed the meeting after its chair, Zoe Lofgren, tested positive for COVID. So there you go.
Could have done it remote. Okay,
somebody's always going to test positive for COVID.
Wishing Congresswoman Lofgren the best in her recovery.
Certainly. And we'll be back with more Rising right after this.